Lynn spotted them before they noticed her. Her father sat straight in his cream linen suit, eyes scanning the terrace. Her mother's pearls caught the sunlight, gleaming like armor. Mai leaned back, smiling too sweetly, her phone resting beside her plate. For a moment, Lynn considered leaving. Then her father looked up, and the moment vanished. "Jeans," he said, his voice cutting through the chatter. Every conversation around them paused for half a beat. "You forgot this is a respectable place." Lynn froze mid-step, the air thick with judgment. Her mother sighed dramatically, a sound rehearsed over decades. "Honestly, Lynn, you knew the dress code." "They're tailored," Lynn replied quietly. "They're denim," her mother snapped, her lips curling. Mai laughed softly. "You look like one of the staff," she said. Heat rose behind Lynn's ears, but she stayed still. A few guests turned to watch, whispering to each other. Her father raised his hand to signal a waiter. "Could you call the manager? Someone doesn't belong here." The waitress hesitated, glancing between them. Her discomfort mirrored Lynn's own. "I'll have to speak with management," the woman murmured. Lynn's chest tightened. Old memories flashed like bruises under glass. She was 10 again, being told to stand straighter. 15, being told her smile was wrong. 20, being told her choices embarrassed the family. Always too much or never enough. She swallowed the sting and spoke carefully. "If I'm embarrassing you, I can leave." Her father's eyes gleamed with victory. "Good, that would be best." The silverware around them stilled. Every sound seemed to vanish except her pulse. Lynn turned toward the exit, throat burning. Then a gentle hand touched her arm. She looked down to see the waitress again, older now, kind eyes steady. "Miss TR letter 1E7N, the woman said softly. "You once helped me with my husband's medicine bills." Lynn blinked, confused. "You didn't have to, but you did," the woman continued. "Don't let them shame you. Some of us notice everything." Something shifted inside Lynn, like a crack letting light in. Her spine straightened, breath deepened. "Thank you," she whispered. The woman nodded and stepped back, silent witness to her choice. Lynn turned again, toward her family. Her father watched, certain she would walk away. Her mother's smile was already smug, victory rehearsed. Mai looked bored, scrolling her phone. Instead, Lynn walked back and pulled out a chair. She sat down with slow, deliberate calm. "I'll stay," she said, reaching for a napkin. "I'm quite hungry." Her mother's eyes widened. Her father stiffened, his jaw clenching. Mai's smirk faltered, replaced by confusion. Around them, whispers rippled like wind over glass. Lynn lifted the menu and smiled faintly. She wasn't leaving anymore. Not from this table. Not from herself. Her father's voice cut through the hum of conversation. "This is unacceptable," he said, each word precise and heavy. "Jeans at Silvercrest. I've never seen such disregard." Her mother dabbed her lips with her napkin. "Perhaps we should speak to the manager," she added coldly. Mai folded her arms, pretending calm. "The rules exist for a reason," she said. Lynn took a slow sip of water, eyes steady on the table. Her father rose to his full height, scanning the terrace. He spotted a staff member nearby and waved sharply. "You there, call the manager immediately." The woman hurried away, her expression unreadable. Guests shifted in their seats, sensing drama brewing. Her mother straightened, pearls glinting with every movement. "This place used to have standards," she murmured. Lynn's fingers tightened around her glass, knuckles pale. She could feel the familiar weight pressing against her chest. Always the outsider, even among her own blood. The manager arrived moments later, calm and professional. "Good afternoon, sir. How can I assist you?" "This girl shouldn't be here," her father declared. "She's breaking your dress code. Call the owner." The manager paused, her eyes flicking toward Lynn. "Of course, sir," she said evenly. "Actually, the owner is on site. I'll inform her." Her father nodded curtly. Good, let's see what she thinks of this nonsense. Lynn didn't speak. Her pulse drummed steady and quiet beneath her skin. The silence around them deepened as footsteps approached. A woman in a dark burgundy suit entered the terrace. Her presence commanded quiet respect. Good afternoon, she began, her gaze moving across the table. I'm Mrs. Lair, executive director of Silvercrest Club. Her father straightened, buttoning his jacket again. Then please call the owner at once, he said. Mrs. Lair met his stare calmly. I already have, she replied. Then she turned to Lynn and nodded. Miss TR letter 1E7N, she said with quiet authority. Would you like to handle this yourself? The world seemed to stop for a moment. Her father blinked, confusion flickering across his face. What did you say? He demanded. Miss TR letter 1EA7N, the director repeated, is the legal owner of Silvercrest Club. The words landed like thunder in a silent hall. Her mother gasped, her fork clattering onto the plate. Mai's jaw dropped, disbelief spreading across her perfect features. Her father's face went pale, lips parting but no sound coming out. Lynn folded her napkin slowly, steady hands betraying nothing. Perhaps we should continue this discussion in private, she said. The director inclined her head. Of course, ma'am, right this way. Her father's voice finally returned, low and shaking. This must be a mistake. You can't. Lynn rose, her chair sliding back without haste. It's not a mistake, she said softly. For once, everything is exactly as it should be. She followed the director toward the office, her footsteps firm. Behind her, the terrace buzzed with whispers. For the first time in her life, she wasn't the one shrinking under them. She was the one they were watching. The office door closed with a soft click behind them. Her father refused to sit, standing tall like a general. I demand an explanation, he barked. The director placed a folder on the table, her tone steady. The documents are clear, sir. Silvercrest Club was purchased 8 months ago. The buyer, she continued, is Silvercrest Holdings LLC, managed by Miss Lynn TR letter 1EA7N. Her mother's hand flew to her chest, pearls trembling. This can't be true, she whispered. Mai shook her head violently. She can't even manage her own life, let alone this place. Lynn remained calm, fingers resting lightly on the table. You tried to remove the owner from her own property, she said. Her father's face darkened, veins standing out at his temple. This is absurd. Nobody buys Silvercrest quietly. The previous board requested discretion, Lynn replied. Her mother leaned forward, voice trembling. Sweetheart, this club is a legacy. You can't handle that responsibility. I've been handling it for months, Lynn said, her voice clear. You didn't notice because you never looked. Mai circled the room, her heels tapping fast. You bought this to humiliate us, she hissed. Lynn met her eyes. I bought a failing business. The humiliation is your reaction, not my intent. Her father slammed his palm on the table. $16 million. Where did you even get that? My company was sold last year, Lynn said evenly. You never asked what I built, so you never knew. The silence stretched, heavy and cold. For years, they had defined her worth by their standards. Now their approval meant nothing. She turned to the director. What do the rules say about member behavior? Article 8.2, the woman recited. Actions that damage the club's reputation or humiliate others may result in suspension. And the procedure, Lynn asked. A written record, witness statements, and immediate review by the conduct committee. Then follow it, Lynn said quietly. Her father laughed bitterly. This is madness. We're founding members. You're members who broke the rules, Lynn corrected. Her mother rose, tears pooling in her eyes. You wouldn't do this to your own parents. Lynn stood slowly, calm as the tide. I'm not punishing you. I'm enforcing the standards you value so much. She pressed the intercom button. Please call security and prepare documentation, she said. 2 officers entered, waiting near the door. Her father's voice trembled with fury. You can't do this. I already have, Lynn replied. Mrs. Hoa stepped in, ready to give her statement. I saw what happened, she said firmly. They humiliated her in front of everyone. The director nodded, making notes. A 30-day suspension pending review, Lynn declared. Her mother gasped, clutching her notice. Mike crumpled hers into a ball. You'll regret this, she hissed. Lynn's tone was soft but unyielding. For once, I don't think I will. The guards escorted them out in silence. When the door shut again, Lynn exhaled slowly. 31 years of silence had finally ended with a single word: enough. The night after the confrontation, Lynn's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 11 calls, 7 messages, 3 missed voicemails. Her mother's voice was thick with rehearsed despair. Your father's blood pressure is rising. Is this what you wanted? Mai's text came next, each sharper than the last. You can't do this. Think of what people will say. People, always people. The invisible audience that had judged Lynn her entire life. She stared at the screen until the light blurred her vision. Then she powered off the phone and set it face down. Silence filled the room, calm and absolute. For the first time in years, she slept without waking in fear. Morning sunlight slipped through the curtains when her lawyer arrived. Ms. Than moved efficiently, a folder tucked under her arm. I've reviewed everything, she said, voice clipped but reassuring. Your actions comply with Silvercrest bylaws and state law. Lynn nodded, her breath slow and steady. They can't sue. They can try, Than said dryly. But they won't win. You followed every rule to the letter. Lynn smiled faintly, a ghost of relief crossing her face. Her father's influence had always been a shadow over her decisions. Now that shadow was gone. The lawyer's tone softened. Don't respond to their messages. Document everything. Stay silent publicly. I will, Lynn said. This isn't revenge. It's accountability. That afternoon, the director called from the club. Your father, been busy, she began without preamble. He tried contacting several board members directly. And, Lynn asked, sipping her coffee. They reminded him that suspended members can't interfere in active cases. There was quiet satisfaction in her voice. Your mother's charity committee postponed their meeting indefinitely, she added. And your sister's husband has refused to get involved. Lynn stared out the window, the harbor glimmering beyond the skyline. Actions have consequences, she murmured. Finally. That evening, she sat on her balcony, the city glowing below. Cars moved like slow rivers of light. For years, she had chased approval through success, through money, through perfection. Every achievement had been another attempt to earn love. Now she understood how empty that chase had been. Her worth had never lived in their eyes. It had been waiting inside her, silent but unbroken. The next morning, she walked into Silvercrest early. The staff greeted her with quiet respect. Not fear, respect. Mrs. Hoa served her coffee, smiling with genuine warmth. People are proud of you, she said softly. They've seen what fairness looks like again. Lynn nodded, gratitude swelling in her chest. No one is above the rules, she replied. Not even family. Outside, the garden shimmered under the morning light. Her parents' car was gone from the lot, leaving only open space. It felt like a metaphor, one she finally understood. Freedom didn't roar. It simply exhaled. Lynn arrived at her office early, the glass walls reflecting the morning sun. Her assistant barely looked up before whispering, Your sister, here. Mai paced the reception area, eyes red and restless. Lynn paused in the doorway, steady as stone. You're early, she said quietly. Mai turned, her voice trembling. You have to stop this, Lynn. Dad isn't sleeping. Mom barely eats. That's unfortunate, Lin replied. Unfortunate. Mai's tone cracked, half anger, half disbelief. They've been humiliated. Do you even care? They humiliated themselves, Lin said softly. I didn't tell them to shame me in public. Mai's lips tightened. The Thompsons canceled their dinner invitation. Everyone's talking. Then let them talk, Lin said. Reputation built on cruelty isn't worth saving. Mai looked away, her voice dropping to a plea. You've made your point. You've shown everyone you're powerful now. Power isn't the point, Lin said, almost to herself. Mai stepped closer, desperate. We're still family. Don't destroy what's left of us. Lin's heart twisted, but her voice stayed calm. I'm not destroying anything. I'm refusing to carry their mess anymore. The phone on her desk buzzed, ignored. Mai's tears came fast, her control slipping. Do you even remember what they did for us? The schools, the house, everything. They gave us things, Lin said quietly. Not kindness, not respect. Mai blinked, stunned by the calm conviction in her sister's tone. Mom cries every night, she whispered. She should have thought about that before trying to have me removed, Lin replied. Silence spread between them, heavy but clean. Mai finally looked defeated. Is this who you are now? She asked. No, Lin said gently. This is who I always was. You just never noticed. Mai left without another word, her heels echoing down the corridor. Lin stood still for a long time after, the quiet pressing close. That night, she sat alone in her apartment, staring at an old photo. 4 faces smiled stiffly in matching outfits. Her father's hand rested on her shoulder like a claim. She traced the glass, her reflection faint beside her younger self. Was she too harsh? The question lingered, but didn't bite as it once did. She opened an old notebook from her childhood. Pages filled with moments she had tried to forget. Dad said my project was adequate. Mom laughed when I cried over rejection. Mai got praise, I got silence. Each line a small wound, healed but visible. By the time she closed the book, her resolve had crystallized. No more begging for affection, disguised as approval. Their peace had always cost her pain. Now, she chose peace of her own making. When they met days later in a private restaurant, the air was brittle. Her father started speaking before she sat down. This has gone far enough. No, Lin said softly. It's finally gone far enough to end. She stood, smoothing her jacket. I'll always wish you well, but respect is the only way back. No one spoke as she walked out. The silence behind her was heavy, but her steps were light. 6 months passed, and Silvercrest Club no longer felt cold. The terrace was alive with laughter and light. Guests mingled under soft music, the evening warm and golden. Lin moved among them with quiet confidence. Staff greeted her not with fear, but with pride. The walls that once echoed judgment now carried joy. Mrs. Ho approached, her new badge gleaming. Hospitality Director, it read proudly beneath her name. The kitchen sends their thanks, she said warmly. The new equipment changed everything. They deserve the best, Lin replied. Her voice carried no bitterness, only calm certainty. Numbers had improved, but what mattered most wasn't in reports. People smiled now, genuinely, freely. Silvercrest had become what it was meant to be. Community, not competition. Respect, not performance. As Lin passed through the ballroom, members stopped to greet her. Best gala we've had in 20 years, one said, raising his glass. Silvercrest feels alive again, another added. Lin thanked them, her smile quiet but real. It still surprised her how simple respect could transform everything. On the staircase leading to the balcony, she paused. This was the same spot where humiliation had begun. Now it held only peace. She stepped outside, the harbor glowing in sunset hues. The air smelled of salt and possibility. Mrs. Hoa joined her briefly, resting her hands on the railing. Justice came full circle, she said softly. Justice never left, Lynn replied. People just forgot what it looked like. They stood in companionable silence before Mrs. Hoa returned inside. A young waitress approached, tray trembling slightly in her hands. Miss TR letter 1E7N, may I ask something? She said nervously. Lynn gestured to the chair beside her. Of course. My family says I'm wasting my life going to college, the girl whispered. They want me to stay home and help instead. Lynn met her gaze, seeing the reflection of her younger self. Your life belongs to you, not to them, she said gently. Their disappointment isn't your responsibility. The girl blinked, tears glistening in her eyes. No one ever told me that before. Then start believing it now, Lynn said with a smile. Talk to Mrs. Hoa tomorrow. There's a scholarship program for staff. The girl nodded, hope lighting her face for the first time. When she left, Lynn turned back toward the horizon. The sun slipped lower, painting the water in rose and violet. A soft breeze moved through her hair, warm and forgiving. Her family had joined another club across town. My sent short messages sometimes, nothing more than small weather reports. The wounds had healed slowly, leaving faint but honest scars. Lynn no longer needed their approval, only her own peace. She raised her glass, watching the light reflect off the surface. Freedom didn't feel loud or triumphant. It felt still, certain, complete. For the first time, she understood what it meant to belong. Not to them, not to this place, but to herself. Night settled over Silvercrest, soft and golden through the windows. The last guests drifted out, laughter fading into quiet. Lynn remained on the balcony, glass in hand, watching the harbor lights. Waves brushed the shore like whispers of an old promise. She breathed deeply, the air warm and free of weight. For years, she had lived under their gaze, chasing approval like oxygen. Now, silence no longer frightened her. It soothed her. Below, the staff closed the doors, their voices light with ease. Every detail here carried her touch, not her family's shadow. She had turned humiliation into harmony, judgment into justice. The past no longer demanded her loyalty. It had taught her everything it could. She smiled, small and sure, as the city shimmered in reflection. Her father's voice, her mother's sighs, her sister's envy. They no longer defined the shape of her world. Freedom was an escape. It was choosing to stay and still feel whole. Lynn lifted her glass toward the horizon, the sea catching the light. Here to peace, she whispered. Finally mine. And in the quiet that followed, she felt it. Not victory, not vengeance. Just calm, steady, undeniable peace.